Hi, it's Rokas from NoMagic. In this video, I will give you a short overview of Tool Vendor project which I have presented in TdSE 2016 conference. TdSE is a German-speaking systems engineering conference organized by German chapter of INCOSE. You have good opportunity to hear the highlights of the 2 hours long session about MBSE capabilities using NoMagic solution. The project which I am presenting for you is available for download. Just click on the link at the end of this video. In Tool Vendor project, we were focusing on the coffee machine example where requirements came from the conference organizers. To present coffee machine model, we were using Magic Grid framework. The goal of Magic Grid framework is to summarize the best practices of MBSE methods and frameworks, adaptations, and suggest simplified way of modeling systems. Magic Grid framework in the columns represents 4 pillars of systems engineering: requirements, behavior, structure, and parametrics. And in the rows, we have different levels of abstraction: concept, problem, and solution. On the concept layer, we have stakeholder needs, which are usually coming from business people in Excel spreadsheet format or from other requirements management tools. We can list them in a table format, or we can show requirements in requirement diagram, and even we can create sub-requirement diagram from existing requirements.
In the use cases, you will find capture refinements of functional user needs. Here you will see use case diagram and use case scenario based on activity diagram. In the system context, you can show how your system interacts with environment. This is high-level view, very useful for discussions with management. Measurements of effectiveness captures non-functional user objectives expressed in numeric format. Functional analysis focuses on internal system functions where you can find behavior in different levels of detail. You can also present functional breakdown for specific activity using activity decomposition map. In the structure, you identify logical subsystems of your main system and also show how different systems communicate from the high-level point of view. System-level requirements and component-level requirements are using the same requirement specification approach as it was presented in stakeholder needs, just the difference is on the focus and different levels of detail. Component structure focuses on physical components which implement logical subsystems and also on internal structure of specific component using internal block diagram. In the parametrics pillar, we have component parameters, which are focusing on physical characteristics of subsystems. In our case, we have parametrics diagram, which is focusing on calculations needed for coffee machine. The formulas are using built-in math evaluator, but you can call also MATLAB functions. In the component behavior part, we describe behavior of specific component using the state machines and also activity diagrams. We will execute coffee machine model using Cameo Simulation Toolkit. Additionally, we defined user interface diagram where buttons represent signals sent to the system and labels are showing value of specific property. We will execute one of predefined simulation configurations. After simulation is started, we can turn on coffee machine. And you can see already that values are changing, the heating temperature and also in time series chart, where you can see the actual values of specific property like boiling temperature, actual temperature, capacity, etc. Coffee machine is ready for making coffee. Let's make a coffee. I'll add 2 euros and I'll make espresso for me. As you can see, for espresso, it takes 4 seconds to make it. And the values has been changed during the execution, like actual capacity. During the execution, you can discover also properties and its values. Like for example, here we have actual temperature, which is also displayed in user interface. And we can even change the value. As you can see, now heating started executing. For traceability, you can use predefined matrices and relation maps, or you can create your own. In coffee machine example, you will find functional allocations to specific blocks, or you can check custom created relation map, which is showing what functions are satisfying chosen requirement and also blocks to which the functions are allocated. For the product line engineering exercise, we were using pure variants. In pure variants, we have created variant model for different markets. The same variant model can be displayed also here. In coffee machine 150% model, we have defined variation points for chosen elements like requirements, user interface, and parts in internal block diagram. By selecting specific variant, like for example Indian standard, you can highlight which parts will be removed after transformation. Here is the result after transformation. There are no buttons needed for standard version. One requirement is cut from the model, and also there is no additional part which was before. Trade-off analysis, I will start from roll-up patterns. The roll-up calculations are among the most used cases in systems engineering. We provide the roll-up pattern wizard, which allows you to calculate total cost, mass or power of your defined system. If a requirement is satisfied by the property, you can even validate requirement based on your configuration using Cameo Simulation Toolkit. For the coffee machine price trade-off from different vendors, I have defined price and score calculation in parametric diagram and created constraint to validate calculated price. The list of supplier provided components with prices I have got from my colleague in Excel spreadsheet. What I need to do? Just copy and paste it into instance table. Voila! It's a kind of magic. We have all values here. The last step is just to evaluate all the configurations. And we can see result. 4 configurations passed our requirements. And finally, we will share our model with colleagues who are not using any modeling tool. The best way is to access it via web browser. For this, we will use Cameo Collaborator, publishing and review environment. In Cameo Collaborator, you can browse published project, read the specification, view the diagram, search for specific element or diagram, and give feedback. You can give graphical comments or write simple text. If you want to discover more about Nomagic's MBSE solution, go to our website nomagic.com/MBSE. Thanks for your time.